last time around, what we saw was we saw string functions. How do we handle strings, right? So we saw different string functions, how to slice, how to split, and how to join them, and what are the different string functions. So this is already done, and then we started with the different data structures, right? And we also call them collections. So we have already covered lists, tuples, and sets, and what we need to do today is dictionary. And then this is going to be a little interesting today. When we finish dictionaries, we will introduce to you uh, pandas data frame as well, and this is where it will start to get interesting, right? Now this is just going to be introduction for pandas data frame today. Pandas, as I told you earlier, is going to be a different section altogether. Yeah, so pandas data frames are going to be a different section altogether, and this is going to be in much detail. And Rahul, to your question yesterday, we are going to do common classes, and date is one of them, maths is one of them. So all the date functions, all the date manipulations, we are going to see in much detail when we cover these modules. So all your date related questions will get solved here. So let's move forward, guys. What we need to do today is dictionaries, and we will try to look at functions as well, right? So how do we define functions? How do we pass and return parameters? And if possible, we will move ahead and see what the generator functions are, right? If not, then we will cover generator functions, lambda functions, map, reduce, filter functions tomorrow, right? At our in our class at 8 p.m. So let's get started. Let's start with dictionaries first, right? So I'm using the same workbook which I was using last time around, and I'm just extending onto that, right? So that all the collections are inside a single no Python notebook. So we have seen still sets. Now let's look at what a dictionary is, right? So what I've done is I've copy pasted the standard definition for you so that we can always refer to it. And let's quickly go through what the definition says. So as per definition, the dictionary is a collection. Of course, we know it is one of the four collections in Python, which is unordered, right? So it does not have any order. So what does unordering mean? It means that we cannot use indexes, right? We cannot use index numbers basically. Unordered means we cannot use index numbers to refer to the elements of this collection. Now this is changeable. This is changeable means we can change the value of this collection. We can change this collection once defined. We can change this collection, and we will see how we can do that. And it also says indexed, right? Now you must be getting a little confused here. When I say unordered, I said there is no way we can use indexes to refer to the elements, right? So this is my dictionary, right? The first value is brand Apple, the second value is model iPhone X, and the third value is year 2019. Now, brand is not the first element or zeroth element. Model is not the second element or first element in this case. And this is what I mean when I say unordered. And you cannot use a number or an index number to actually signify this or refer to this. But it is indexed as well. It is indexed in the sense that it is an element in this, but then you cannot use an index number. You can use the element itself. You can use the element itself. You can use brand as an index. You can use model as an index. You can use year as an index. Now if you look at it more objectively, it does not have any order, right? What comes before brand, model, or year, right? There is no sense to this question, right? Year would come prior to model or brand. There is no sense to this question. But if I say which element comes before element at index 1, then you can always say that element at index 0 will come before element at index 1, right? So there is a sense to that question. But then here, if you say what is the index of model, then it makes no sense. So what I mean to say is you can use these values as index, but they do not have a number associated to this, and that is what is different in this case. So let's look at this a little more objectively and see how is it different, right? In Python, dictionaries are written with curly brackets and they have keys and values. So this is a new concept altogether, keys and values, right? So if you remember, and let's actually do some quick recap as well. We have seen lists, right? So we have defined a list, and to define a list, yeah. So we have defined a list. To define the list, what we used was big brackets. To define the tuple, we used small brackets. To define the set, what did we use? Do you remember? To define the dictionary, we are going to use curly brackets. What did we use to define the sets? Anyone? Right, let's look.
curly bracket.
Yeah, so we used curly brackets there, right? But what is the difference? Here we do not have a here we do not have a key value pair. We
Value
just
pair.
have elements in there, right? But if you look at the same syntax for dictionary, then it is a little different. We have a colon in between, so every element is different. Every element is separated by a comma, right? So this is my first element in this dictionary. This is my second element in the dictionary, and this is my third element. But when you look at it, every element is itself divided into two parts, and each part is divided by or separated by this colon character. So the first character here, or the first element here, is called the key, and this is the value, and you this is what we are referring to, keys and values. So every element in the dictionary will have a key. So brand is a key, and Apple is a value. So model is a key, and iPhone X is a value. Year is a key, and 2019 is a value. So if you go back, so if you look at it, right, so defining a set is the same as defining a dictionary syntax wise. But the difference is, when you define a set, you define a set as this way, right? But then in case of a dictionary, it is going to be a little different, right? And just to write the syntax a little neatly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take example of a simple variable. So you can specify, let's say name is Amit, age 35, role. Of course, this needs to be in double quotes. 20. So if you look at it, what does it represent? It definitely represents the value of the name. So this is the field name. You can say this is a field name or column name, and this is the value of it. This is again a field name, and this is the value of it. And this is again a field name, and this is the value of it. So all of these are referred to as keys, and these corresponding values for these keys are referred to as values. And this is what a dictionary actually represents. This is what a dictionary is: key value pairs. And this is what it consists of: key value pairs. So these are the keys. These are my keys, all the uh, items before colon, and these are my values. Clear? So this is what a key value pair actually looks like. Syntactically, it looks a little complicated, but if you really break it down, it becomes very easy. Like in this example, you just need to look at each item separated by commas. So you have three records. This is record number one. This is record number one. This is record number two. And this is record number three. And every record has a key, which is the element before semicolon, colon basically, and what follows colon is the value itself. So when we go back to the Python notebook again and look at it, right, this is what it is actually representing. My dictionary is a dictionary element, right? And we have brand Apple, brand as the key, value as Apple, model as the key, iPhone X as the value, year, and it has value 2019. So like we have been doing, with all the new data types or all the new collections, let's first print the type of it and see if it is giving us the correct type or not. So see, when we print the type of my dictionary, it says dictionary, right? So simple. This is how you define a dictionary, and this is what a dictionary is. The way you define it syntactically is slightly similar than to how do you define a set, but then this is slightly different as well, right? This is slightly different because it has to have a key and a value pair. So every element will have a key and a value. So this is the only difference. Now, how do you print it, right? The command is going to be the exactly the same, right? Print, and you provide the collection name, and when you do this, this is going to print you all the key and values as is, right? So this is my first record, this is my second record, this is my third record. How do you print the specific element, right? Or how do you print the specific key or value, right? So like I said, in the definition itself, right, it is unordered, right? And it is unordered, right? So it is unordered means we cannot specify value 0 to brand, we cannot specify value 1 to model, we cannot specify value um, 2 to year, right? But we can always refer to these elements by their name itself. And that is what we can do. So when we say my dictionary and under brackets we specify year, then actually we are referring to this element. We are referring to this element, which is the name year. And when we do that, then we are getting the corresponding value of it. So how do you fetch the value of any specific key? By specifying the name of the key itself. And it makes sense, right? You have to fetch the value of any key. So specify the key name itself, and then you'll get the value of it. If you need to change and get the value of the key named model, then you can change the key name itself and you get the value of the key itself. Okay. There is another way. There is another way to fetch the value of any key, and that is using the get function. So the choice is yours, this statement and this statement. They give you the same result, right? I just need to change the key here. Either you can use or specify the key name inside big brackets, or you can use the get method, and inside the small brackets you can specify the key name. The choice is yours. Both of these give you the same result. And if you do not want to use a function, you can continue to use this one, right? The way you access the element of a list, you can access the value of any key inside a dictionary as well. Now moving on, we defined dictionary as changeable, right? So we are saying that dictionary is changeable, it can change as well, right? So what does it mean? The dictionary is changeable means we can change the once defined, you can change it, right? So the only um, collection which is not changeable is this one. The only collection which is not changeable is this one. You cannot, once defined, you cannot change tuple. This is not changeable, right? And we have already seen this one. Once we try to change the element of a tuple, it gives you an error. But you can change a list after defining it, you can change a set after defining it, and same ways you can change the dictionary as well defining it after defining it, right? So how do we do this? It is very simple. You can just specify the key name and then specify the value to which you want it to be changed to. So how does it work? See, our year value, we want to change it to 2018. What is our year value? Let's check this for now. So our year value is 2018 and we want to 2019 right now, and we want to change this to 2018. So let's see what happens when we execute this. So we executed this, and now we want to print the same, the value of the key which is named year, and actually it has got changed. Let's try to let's try to check this again. See, I printed the whole dictionary, and then it is actually giving you the same year 2018. So the value itself got changed. So once defined, uh, uh, a key or a value can be changed inside a dictionary, and this is what it means. It is very simple. You can do the assignment operation. You can use assignment operator to change this, and you can change any of the values that you can see in the dictionary. Now, how do you print the elements of the key, right? So elements of the key are also iterable, right? And you can actually change print them the same way you print the elements of the list, right? So we have already seen that instead of this element, we can, what is this, right? This is my dictionary, right? And my dictionary has how many elements? My dictionary has three elements. So this for loop will run three times. Each time it will run for the individual elements of the dictionary, right? The same way it was running for my list, the same way it was running for my tuple. So the first time it will run for my first element, right? And what is it that I'm printing? I'm printing this value item in here, right? So what is getting printed? First time it is printing brand, then it is printing model, and then this is printing year. Now you may be thinking that these are my, what are these? Are these the keys or the values? Are
Key.
these are the keys, right? These are the keys. So how do I get the values? So to get the values, what we need is, for to get the values, we'll need to specify the key name inside the dictionary, right? This is the way to fetch it, right? You specify key name inside the dictionary, right? And that is the way to fetch the value of any key. But then here we are only specifying the key name, and that is why the key name is getting printed. So this statement is only going to, or these lines of code are only going to print you the keys. But then if you want to print the values, then you need to actually change this statement, right? From print item, we need to print my dictionary item, right? So my dictionary first item, my dictionary first item would be my dictionary brand. The second would be my dictionary model. The third one would be my dictionary year. And that ways, if you look at it, this is going to print you the different elements of the dictionary, right? And this is what it is doing: Apple, iPhone X, and 2018. So this ways it is going to print you the respective values of this dictionary. So that is it for the how to print the individual elements of the dictionary. Now let's look at some other concepts, right? So there's this function called values, right? And this is something that you can use with any dictionary. So my dictionary is a dictionary, and when I print or when I call the values method with a dictionary element, then it only gives you the elements of the, or the values of the, all the keys. So let me show you what this element prints, or what this function prints separately, so that you know. So see what is happening here. When we print my dictionary dot values, then it gives you what? It gives you kind of a list, right? This is a list, and this list includes all the, these are
Value.
all the values.
Value.
Exactly, these are all the values. It does not give you those keys. It only gives you values. So what is happening here? When you run this for loop, then actually it is substituting Apple, iPhone X, and 2018, something similar as this. And in this case, what will happen? This will run three times, right? And that is why it is printing Apple, iPhone X, and 2018. Simple. So this is going to be no different. We have already seen all of these concepts, and this is just a reiteration. This is no different in case of a dictionary. Any questions, anyone?
No.
All right. Then we have already seen this operator in, we were talking about it yesterday as well, right? So it is the same as how we were checking whether an element is present inside a list or a set or a tuple, right? The same way we can check whether uh, you know an item is present inside a dictionary or not, right? So print model in my dictionary would return if this key is present in this dictionary or not. And this is what is happening. Model in my dictionary is giving you, let me execute it again, it's giving me true. But when I say apple in my dictionary, then it is giving us false. So what does it mean? It means that when you search for anything inside a dictionary, then it searches the key. It searches the key. It does not search the value, right? So you can search for a key, you cannot search for a value. And using the in operator, you can search for the key. That is what you need to know. You cannot search for the value itself. So this is how the in operator works. We have seen this earlier as well, but then there was just one element earlier. We just used to have the value, so it used to work for the value in the other collection types. But here it will search for the key itself and not the value. Then we have seen the len command earlier as well to print the length of the dictionary. And length, by length, what I mean here is the number of
Number of
elements.
elements.
Yeah, and number of elements in this case is definitely three, right? The three elements are my brand, model, and year. So these are the three elements of the dictionary. So this is going to give you three. Now we have already changed the year, right? And this is one way of changing the dictionary, right? Now there other ways of changing the dictionary? Yes, there are other ways of changing the dictionary as well. We can change the dictionary by adding new elements to the it or key value pair to it, or we can delete existing ones, right? The way we did for list, the way we did for sets, right? So that's something that we can do here as well. And of course, like we saw earlier, this is not possible for a tuple. So let's try and do them, right? Since dictionaries dictionary is a changeable, we can do all of these operations. So this is one statement, right? Let's look at it, what it does. I have specified my dictionary color is equal to white. Now, this is not any of the keys which are available, right? When you look at the existing keys, we just have three keys, right? We have brand, model, and year. Key is color is not any key. So what will happen in this case is it will create a new key value pair inside the dictionary. It will create a key with the name color and it will specify the value as white in that key, right? So it will create a new dictionary element color and it will have a value of white. So let's see what it does. So it does not print anything, but then it has added one element color into the dictionary. So let me print it and see what happens, right? So these are my existing elements, right? These were pre-existing and the command that I just ran added one new key value pair in the dictionary named color and white. So this is another way of changing the elements of the dictionary. We earlier saw how can we change the existing value by using a assignment operator is equal to operator. We had changed this year from 2019 to 2018. And now we have added a new element, a new key value pair to the dictionary. So that is how you can change it one, one another way. We already seen pop, right? So let's look at what pop does uh, to dictionaries, right? So my dictionary dot pop, and when we say color, then this is going to delete. This is going to delete this key and the corresponding value as well. So we added a new key value pair. Now we are deleting a key value pair from the dictionary. And when we are doing this, it is printing a value white but actually it has deleted this element from the dictionary itself. So let's see what has happened. So after pop, when we print the dictionary, it is again back to how it was before adding the color is equal to white, that element. So this is how you actually manipulate with the dictionary. Um, there is there is a del command as well. We have seen this with list. We have seen this with sets as well, and we can use del command as well instead of a pop. The choice is yours. Like I said, there are multiple ways of doing the same thing. You can always also use the del command. So when you do use del command with a specific key value, right? Then it deletes that key value from the dictionary, right? So what will happen in this case? It will delete the model key and the corresponding value from the dictionary. And let's see what happens. So I've deleted that key named model, and then I'm printing the dictionary again. So see what has happened. It is now the dictionary now consists of only brand and year, only these two keys and their corresponding values. It does not have the model key anymore because we deleted it. So this is how you can also delete the elements of a dictionary. Now, if you want to delete the dictionary itself, that is also possible. You can use the dictionary name with del without using any key value. So you do not specify any key value. See, we have not specified anything inside the brackets, right? We have not specified anything. We've just specified the name of the dictionary. And once we do this, then my dictionary gets deleted altogether. And when I print it, it says name my dictionary is not defined, which means my dictionary is gone. My dictionary is deleted. It does not have any existence now. So this is how you define a dictionary. Now, do let me know, guys, if you have any questions with dictionaries. We're going to move to something interesting with dictionaries now. But then the basics of dictionaries are covered so far.
So using the pop function, we have to define the key as well, or by default it will remove the last item.
So if you do not specify if you do not specify the key, then it will remove the last element. And if you specify the key, then it will delete the element that you have specified here.
But as this is the unordered, how we can do it? No, no, that is the last item.
So it is unordered, definitely yes. But then what does it mean is that you cannot use an index number. We cannot use an index number. But then if you look at the print statement, the outcome of it, it is always printing it in the manner in which it is defined. So Apple iPhone X and 2018, it is printing it in a specific order, and this is the order in which we have defined it. We have defined the elements in the same order: brand, model, and year. Unindexed mean you cannot refer to them with an index number. And why that is so? Because if you have a key value pair, let's say you have this key value pair, the example that we took, name, age, and role. How do you want to, order them? What is more logical for you to what is a more logical order for you to make, right? A name should come first, or age should come first, or role should come first. Maybe this question in itself does not make any sense, right? How does it matter till the time all of these values are there and if you're able to fetch them? Does not really matter if name is at the beginning of this element or name is at the end of this element, right? When I look for name, then I should get name, and the uh, that is what the requirement is. So if you think of it this way, right, the way people wanted to access elements from this collection is by using the index name itself and not the index number. And that is why index number was never assigned or was never made to work in this case, or in case of a dictionary, because it does not make any sense, right? If it is a key value pair, then I will always want to refer to them using my keys, right? In this case, my keys are name. My keys are name, my keys are age, and my keys are role. If I specify additional indexes, right? Let's say index 0, index age, or index 2 for role, then these will be additional, numbers that I'll need to remember, and I'll need to refer name with 0, age with 1, and role with 2, which is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to from this collection find out my name, and to do that I want to refer to this element itself. I want to write my dictionary, and I want to write this as this one, my name, my dictionary name, and not, sorry, and not this way, right? The good thing with this approach is, even if you define name later, let's say, even if you define name later, right? Let's say you swap the positions of these two. Age comes before and name comes later. So this one is at the start, age is in the middle, and role is what comes later on. What do you think what will happen to this statement? Will it change its output? Will it change its output?
No, Manish, it always gives the new value
Yeah, because
as we are.
because the benefit here is that you're always referring to it with the name, with the key name, right? So it will not change the output. So there is no change in output, right? No change. But then in this case, if you refer to this with the index number, then the output will change, right? Earlier it
Yeah.
was printing name,
Now
and
it
later
is
on it will start printing 35. So this is how it was designed actually. It was designed to be working with the key name itself, and that is why it was never made to work with the index number. And that is the reason we will not have indexes work with dictionaries. So okay, and anything else, guys? No? Okay. All right. So let me introduce to you guys a new concept here, where we are trying to actually define the dictionary in a slightly different manner, right? So dictionary 2, right? Dictionary 2 is equal to, uh, let's look at this statement now. Now, what is different here? Can anyone tell me what is different here? We are defining another dictionary, but then we are defining it a little differently. What is different here?
where we have provided the multiple values for a particular key.
Yes, so for each key, we have specified multiple values, right? So values is itself a list. So that is true. Values is itself a list, right? That is what is happening here. So name is a list. The values of name is a list. The values of key model is also a list, and the values of key year is also a list. And why have we done that, right? So that is to let you know a couple of things, right? The list, the values itself could be a list, it could be a tuple, or it could be a dictionary. It is totally fine. You can intertwine them based on the need. The other thing is, let's look at it. Let's define it first, and let's print it, right? So how is it printing it? It is printing it the same way. The value name, it has three values, right? The key model has three values, and the key year has three values. Now, what are we trying to do here? I'm just trying to introduce to you as to how this dictionary can be converted into a pandas data frame in a single line of statement. And this will transform itself into a data frame, right? How can we do that? So of course, we are going to see pandas in much detail later, but then I just wanted to introduce you a concept here so that you guys find it a little interesting later. So what we can do is we can import pandas. We can import this library named pandas, which is primarily used to work with data frames. And data frame is nothing but a tabular kind of a structure that we have available in in Python, right? So a data frame is nothing but uh, a tabular kind of a structure, right? So you have a data frame in Python, which will have column headers, and then you will have rows of data. So same as I'm taking a simple example of 4 columns, right? So this is my column 1, this is my column 2, this is my column 3, and this is my column 4, and these are my all the rows of data, right? So column 1 will have any value, column 2 will have any value, and these are the different rows of data. So in a database, howsoever, or in your Excel, howsoever you represent a table, a data frame is going to be similar to that, right? So it is going to have any value, same ways we are going to have these values. So I'm just taking hypothetical examples, but then you can just fill in for whatever values we want to have. And this is what, these are all my columns, right? These are all my columns, total 4, and these are all my rows, right? Total 6, right? So this is how a data frame actually looks like in Python as well. Now, what are the benefits? How do we use it? How do we define it? What are the operations that we can do? These are all things that we will see later on. But right now, what we are going to do is we are going to see the relationship between a dictionary and a data frame in Python. So if you look at this table, right, these are my column headers, right? These are my column headers, column 1, column 2, column 3, and column 4. Can I call them as keys? Can I call them as keys? Key 1,
Yes.
key
Yes.
2.
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is my key 3 and this is my key 4. And for key 1, can I call these as the values of key 1,
Yes.
right? So these are
Yes.
my values. These are my values of key 1. Now the same way, these are my values of key 2. And this is how you can actually transform a dictionary into a data frame, right? So if you understand this concept that the column headers are going to be keys, and then the corresponding values are going to be the rows of the data for that column, then it is going to be very easy for us to understand this concept, right? Where what is happening here is this is the first uh, this is the first key, right?
Column.
So this is the first column name. You can say that as this is the first column name. And let's actually look at it this way. Let's actually look at it here in a separate one. So how this is going to happen is name, model, and year, right? So this is going to actually, when we convert this dictionary into a data frame, then this is going to look like this. Sorry, so this is name, model, and year, right? So you will have name. So first, what I'm doing is I'm just picking these 3 keys, right? Name, model, and year, and putting them into column headers. So this is my name, this is my model, and this is my year. Now let's look at the name, values for name, right? So values of name are Apple, Samsung, and Nokia, right? So what I'll do is I will write Apple, Samsung, and Nokia, right? And the same way I'll do for model, right? So model is, and I can pick whatever model, right? But then let's iPhone X, Galaxy N5, and then the year values, right? So let's keep the same 2019, 2019, and 16, right? So 2020, 2019, and 2016, right? So these are the values. So this way we can actually convert a dictionary, we can convert to a data frame, or a data frame is nothing but similar to what a table looks like in Python. So this is how we can convert. So let's see how we can actually do that. So for that, what we can do is we can actually import pandas, right? We will need to import pandas for this. So we have imported pandas, and then we have to call a function. So PD is what? PD is an alias given to this library. So whenever we import a library, we can call the functions of that library. And pandas is a library that we use to work with
Data frames.
data
Data,
frames, right? But every time you want to call the functions of the pandas library, you would not want to write the whole keyword pandas, right? That is why we give it a short alias. And that is what we are trying to do. Now, going forward, once we have imported pandas, we are going to refer pandas as PD, as a short form. And that is what we are trying to do. Now we are defining a data frame, df. df is equal to pd dot data frame. And what is here? We are specifying the dictionary that we had already defined earlier. And once we do that, then my data frame is ready. It is inside df, and when we print df, actually we got the same table that we just saw here. So this is one concept where you can actually convert your dictionary into a you can convert your dictionary which has values as a list into a data frame, pandas data frame. So do let me know, guys. It may be a little tricky to understand. If you have any questions, do let me know right now.